Today we are talking about a town that is on the outskirts of Salem. It's only about a 20-minute drive or so, a little more, a little less, depending on what side of town you're coming from and going to. And that is Albany, Oregon. If you are thinking about relocating to Salem or anywhere in the surrounding areas, you are going to want to watch this video until the very end today, because I'm actually going to be sharing the top pro, in my opinion, and the top con, in my opinion, of Albany, Oregon at the very end. Be sure to stay tuned until the end. You're not going to want to miss anything today. But first, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Mariah. I'm a relocation specialist real estate agent. My husband and I both, we run a real estate team together here in the area, and we work with a lot of buyers that come to us through this YouTube channel, potentially just like you, that are watching our videos and are thinking about either relocating to or just buying or selling real estate in the beautiful Willamette Valley area. By the way, if that's you, we would love to talk with you as well. The first step in relocating here or buying a house here with us is shooting us an email. Or you can just go ahead and find our calendar link on our website, which is in the link below, and you can book a call directly with us. We would love to chat with you and help you find your home here, whether you already live here or are moving here. Albany is one of the towns that many of our relocation buyers who are moving to this area, and they've oftentimes never been here and they don't ever come here until after they close on their home. And Albany is one of those towns that we find buyers oftentimes wanting to move to, and after closing, being super happy that they did. So one of the top pros of Albany, one of the top reasons we see buyers choosing Albany versus Salem or Corvallis, which is also pretty close to Albany, is the fact that home prices in Albany are a little bit lower than surrounding cities. Albany, Oregon is going to be just a little, it's not like super drastic, but it is enough to make a significant difference. You can get a little bit more square footage for your dollar. There are actually some really solid new construction communities popping up on every different side of town in Albany, and they're pretty affordable. You can get new construction in Albany for prices that you could for sure not get new construction for in Salem or Corvallis. So if you are somebody who is going to be working in Salem or even working in Corvallis, then Albany is a really great option if you want something a little more affordable. The next pro about Albany, and we are going to get into some cons, so don't go anywhere, but the next pro is the fact that Albany does have a good mixture of both historic homes. There is a really cute historic downtown as well as historic district. So if you are into historic older homes, you want to restore an older home, you can find that here in Albany. However, there is also new construction, and then of course everything in between. So it does have a pretty good variety as far as that goes. The next reason we see our relocation buyers choosing Albany, Oregon is because it is a very easy commute to both Salem, Oregon, and Corvallis, Oregon. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but we do see a lot of our relocation buyers moving here, and they're going to be working in either Corvallis or Salem, and Albany is just that sweet spot where it's not too far of a drive from either, but you do get a little bit more desirable home prices. The next pro and con is the downtown. You might think it's a pro, you might think it's a con. It is a lovingly restored, historic downtown. You're going to see some really cool historic buildings. So that's a pro, but the con, like it's charming, it's cute, that's a pro. But a con is the fact that that's just pretty small. Like you could probably walk through all of downtown Albany in 10 minutes, and that's if you're walking really, really slow. So it's a very small downtown, but they do have a cute downtown. The last pro, before I get into the very last con, which I think is the worst in my opinion, I'd love to hear your opinion in the comment section, is that you can use a USDA loan in Albany. A USDA loan basically means you can buy a house using $0 down. We have seen so many buyers over the years use a USDA loan and then ask for the sellers to pay for their closing costs. So they are essentially buying a house using $0 of their own money, and then years later they sell it and make a great profit, after living in it for a handful of years. And that to me is just the coolest thing for especially young or first-time buyers to take advantage of. So if you qualify for a USDA loan, Albany, Oregon is USDA eligible, which is really, really cool. Okay, guys, I told you I was saving the biggest con, in my personal humble opinion, for very last. And that is that Albany, it might be a little boring. Now, of course, every town, in my opinion, is what you make it, and it's a lot more about the people that you get connected with and your community around you, because I think you could live in a really boring town and have an awesome time if you have great community around you and awesome people in your life, or you could live in, a great town with a lot to do and be miserable if you don't have that, you know what I'm saying? So while that is a little bit relative, I personally think Albany would be a little bit boring just because there's really not a lot to do. Salem is a smaller town. It's not a huge city by any means, but there's more options when it comes to restaurants, dining, kid activities if you have kids, just everything, shopping, like everything in general. There's just not as much to do in Albany. If you want a little bit lower of a home price and you don't mind driving, if you're gonna go, have some world-class entertainment, you don't mind driving, you can drive to Corvallis, Eugene, Portland, sometimes even Salem for entertainment. So those are all pros, that it's not too far of a drive. So anyway, guys, those are the pros and cons, in my opinion, to buying a house in Albany. Like I said earlier, if you are considering relocating to the area, my husband and I are a real estate team and we would love to work with you. I will put my contact information below. Shoot me an email. I would love to chat with you guys. If you grab value from today's video, hit the thumbs up button and head over to my channel. I have a handful of playlists sharing everything you need to know about buying real estate in and moving to this beautiful area in Oregon, and I'll see you guys soon.